Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we're going to make a very simple tinted lip balm. But instead of using something like an iron oxide or a mica to tint the balm, we are going to use alkanet root, which is a beautiful, deep, purpley red color. So we're going to infuse that into the oils as if we were making sort of a very, very long steeped cup of tea before adding our beeswax and turning that into a beautiful lip balm. So the color is absolutely stunning, but the tint is quite subtle because, as I've noted in previous videos, botanical colors really don't tend to be that potent, and alkanet root is no exception. But the color is stunning, and we'll add a bit of mica at the end for added stunningness. And yeah, let's get started. The first part of making this ruby lip tint is getting our alkanet root into a little tea bag here. So I'll just grab a spoonful of it here. This is 1 teaspoon, and it's just, as you can see, a pretty dark, unassuming powder. It does have a slight purpley hue to it, but it's fairly unremarkable at this point in time, but just you wait, it will transform. So we'll tie that off, pop that in our beaker, and then I'm going to use this elastic band just to hold this in place so that the little tag doesn't fall in while we're infusing. So we're going to add 10 grams of virgin coconut oil, 6 grams of cocoa butter, and 16 grams of almond oil. So you'll notice there's no beeswax at this point in time, and that is on purpose. We're going to do the infusion without the beeswax so that we don't have to keep the mixture too hot for the infusion to work, because once it solidifies, it doesn't infuse very well. So I'm going to pop this in here. This is just a small saucepan that's got about 1 inch or 3 centimeters of water in it. And I'm going to go melt everything together over the stovetop, about medium heat. Probably leave the heat on for like half an hour, and then I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to come back and make the rest of this lip balm tomorrow night. So it'll kind of infuse for about 24 hours, but after that, when I come back, after it's been sitting for about 24 hours, I'll just give it a gentle reheat so that we can finish the infusion and pull the tea bag out, because it will probably solidify overnight, but it will continue to infuse fairly well because there's no beeswax in here, so it's not going to be an absolute brick. So it's been about an hour on the stove infusing, and I wanted to show you how the infusion is coming along. So you can see that the oils are a really lovely sort of bright pinkish sort of hue. So I'm going to go to bed now, so I'm just going to leave this to continue to infuse. The oils will definitely thicken up a bit because there is some cocoa butter and coconut oil in there, but the infusion will, still continue to happen, and the water bath will sort of keep that from solidifying for too long. But I'll come back in probably about 22, 23 hours, basically after I put my dog to bed tomorrow, and we'll add the beeswax after we sort of finish the infusion, and that's roughly going to be it. So yeah, see you tomorrow. All right, so it's been about 20 hours. You can see that the oil has definitely sort of thickened up a bit. It's more viscous than it was last night, but it definitely hasn't, solidified since there's no beeswax in there. So we've definitely got a nice infusion going on. So I'm going to go reheat this over the stove, because when we come to press the oil out of here so we lose as little of it as possible, it's easier to do that if it's warm because it will be a lot less viscous. So I'm going to go heat this through, and then we'll come back, press this out, add our beeswax, melt that, and we will be ready to pour some lip balm. All right, so we are all melty. So I'm going to pop this out of here temporarily, just give me a little bit more dexterity. All right, so I'm just going to press the side of the tea bag here with my spatula, try to squeeze out as much oil as possible, but you do want to be careful not to break the bag. I do find that these paper bags can get quite delicate after having soaked in oil for so long. And obviously if you rupture it, then you need to strain things, and that's a pain in the bum, so best to just not. All right, put that aside. Now we're going to add the beeswax. And this goes back into our water bath. And I'm going to go put this back over the heat to melt everything through. All right, now that we are all melty, we are in the home stretch. So you can see that this is a beautiful, rich, dark, sort of purpley red hue, which I'm pretty excited about. So we're going to finish sort of dressing this up with some essential oils. So we're going to do 20 drops of peppermint and 1/8 teaspoon of gold mica. You could totally use silver or bronze or kind of really almost any color looks good with this beautiful base. I'm going with gold today, and watch this, it's so pretty. Ooh, shiny. All right, and now we pour. Okay, so we're going to leave that to set up. Probably take about 20 minutes, but I'll probably leave it overnight because it's about 10 o'clock right now. Now that these have set up, we can cap them, wipe them down, and label them. And there you go. Let's do a little swatch test here. It's quite a subtle tint, as most botanical tints do tend to be, because they're just really not that potent. There you go, you just made some ruby lip tint. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and check the description box below for the full written recipe and link to this recipe on my blog and links to places to buy all the ingredients I used in this recipe. And do the thumbs up thing, apparently that's a cool thing on YouTube. So yeah, see you next time.